There we go.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Sweet. Every week's getting a little bit easier. I'm getting a little bit less tense.
That happens.
Yes,
Look,
indeed.
just for you before we start, if you can look at the
Hold on.
screen.
Hold on 1 second. I think I got the right one. Yeah, okay. Okay, I need to get one more. Should work. Ooh, yeah. Hell yeah. Sweet. Okay. Hmm.
Can you see the screen properly? Or is like flat, or is like, do you hear me with lag or anything?
That's good, man. I can hear your voice clearly, um, and loudly
Okay.
enough. Yeah. What I'm gonna do is check our levels at the beginning, and I keep forgetting to unmute. and we are live. Welcome, everybody. I think I see a couple people in chat here. Um, Cax PS06 and Tia Goad GM, or GM, I don't know. You have to help me with the pronunciation here. I apologize if I butcher your names, but welcome to everybody today to the One Hive TV stream. We are live again this Monday, and I'm joined by Eduardo to catch you up on the latest headlines around the DAO space. And we'll be chatting about a lot of interesting stories today. Actually, there's a lot of action. There's always a lot of action, but there's a lot of particularly interesting action, particularly around some of the DeFi blue chips, I think, this week. So we'll get into that in just a minute. And then at the top of the following hour, so around noon Eastern, we will invite GUStakes. So a couple of the folks that have founded this project, Gods Unchained, is an NFT game. And if you're familiar with that, we have two of the founders of that project. They're going to be coming on to chat with us. Also, fellow One Hivers, and this would be Solar and Dosh. So either one, definitely one, possibly both of them will be joining us around noon to share the latest on that project as well. So again, welcome to everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We'll kick off with the headlines today. Eduardo, how you doing, man? What do you want to start with first?
I'm good. So just two disclaimers. The first one, we may butcher some names, as T. Wells mentioned. And the second one is that I have a weird internet connection. So if you see me lagging or with a delay, it's me. It's not your connection. So just that disclaimer before we get into this. Headlines. We have a bunch of headlines this time. And we will start with the one with Uniswap. Uniswap had quite a few action in the past week. A lot of basically the summary of Uniswap. If you want to skip the Uniswap part because you don't use Uniswap, you don't care about Uniswap. Basically, Uniswap is trying to extend and expand their how can you say this? They're trying to expand how it expands their universe. I don't know. It's a weird concept, but basically the proposals. They have three proposals. One is to consensus check. So basically, just to put in context, right, Uniswap has a process to propose on a snapshot, and the first part is a temperature check. So if you go to their snapshot and you see the label temperature check on the proposal, it's the first iteration of their governance. So it's the first part. So they basically do a check-in and they see if that idea that you may have for Uniswap, it's approved by the community. Once that is approved, they move on into the next stage, which is consensus check. Basically, if once that first part is approved, then okay, comes a debate, answering questions, what's the good, what's the bad, and then if that passed, and they need certain quorum to pass, if that passed, then it passed to the stage 3 of governance for Uniswap. So basically, this one is a consensus check. So you already passed the temperature check, and it's basically this one has 98.4 votes in favor, and it went from the November 29th to December 3rd. So it ended 3 days ago, and the idea is to deploy Uniswap v3 on Polygon. That's the idea. There's much to explain about that. We talked about actually this on the previous stream about how they lay out this process. And the second one, the other one that we talk about, it's Uniswap supported to accelerate layer 2. So this one we are not quite sure if it's a temperature check or a consensus check, or it's just a simple plain proposal, because this one has a very particular case of user where this proposal was voted against, and then someone, the highest voter, suddenly dropped 2.5 million tokens into this votation. So it flipped the votation back in the favor. What do you think about this, T-Wolf? People who flip votations?
Hey, but the good news is here. It's an ENS address. So,
Yes.
I don't, Ben Global, not sure, and I don't want to
Yeah.
draw any false conclusions. But yeah, what we had noticed here was that So this is not obviously a formal proposal. It's more, and it's obviously very informal, in fact, right? Um,
Yeah.
it's obviously relevant to this question of gas price, and I mean, this person is saying people's trading frequency, otherwise known as volume, right, is clearly, I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably lower than it was, due to gas
Yeah.
fees, as we know. So I don't know what accelerate at layer two means, but as you said, the two proposals that have passed out here are specific to the concern that was raised in
Yeah.
this one, right? But when you go to we won't do this now. But if you go to benglobal.eth's wallet, you won't find 2.5 million uni. I think there's like 400. So I'm not sure. I haven't dug into the Etherscan sort of transaction level on this story, but it might be something interesting. If there's anybody in the audience, right, that wants to go to benglobal.eth and just see, the curious question is like, was this, because the author of the proposal is not the same. So there's somebody else that
Yeah.
has an ENS. I think, look, this is probably just something that was designed to attract people's attention to the issue. But it is sort of
Yeah.
interesting the way, as you said, that it was one wallet address, right? 2.5 that
Yeah.
basically flipped the thing. Um, yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
all I
So
got.
it's interesting. It's interesting because it speaks about what mechanisms do we have implemented when these kind of situations
Mm-hmm.
happens. Like, what do you do when a whale sort of changed a votation? Anyways, besides that, if you see the amount of votes that the other ones got, you can see clearly what T. Wolf mentioned about this is not necessarily maybe an official proposal because the other ones has 44 million uni, and the other one had 20 million uni. So there's this one only have 2.3 million uni, and 90% of those tokens are from this wallet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there you go. And then the third one that we have for Uniswap this week is another consensus check. And should Uniswap incentivize liquidity on optimism and Arbitrum? Um, so basically, this one is interesting also. This consensus check. They explain a little bit about what's going on, what is going on. They mention also that the liquidity mining experiment was a failure in this regard. Um, they are referring to Ribbon, a liquidity mining program below. Sorry, not the Uniswap program. So they mentioned how they sort of want to prevent these things to happen, how they want to sort of improve, and they lay out this very walkthrough forum post um, to basically explain how they will execute this liquidity mining on Uniswap v3 in a fair manner, and how they want to um, incentivize this program. And right now, this consensus check for liquidity optimism Arbitrum has 19 uni on favor, so 98 votes, 98 percentage of favor, and it already ended, so it passed. So we will see how these efforts of Uniswap to sort of incentivize token holders, incentivize their use, and how they try to expand will pay off with this kind of proposals. It will be interesting to sort of keep track of all of these activities to see how sometimes we got good products and sometimes these products we don't do much. We just get used to them, and it's interesting for me at least. I have to admit I'm not a heavy user of Uniswap, but it's nice to see that they are trying to expand and they are trying to sort of improve their game and getting comfortable at something, at least to my eyes. What do you think, Tiwals?
Yeah, no, I think that I agree with everything you're saying, man. And um, yeah, I guess in a sort of separate but related note, and to bring the uni conversation full circle to what you were saying at the beginning, is it's interesting to see how each DAO has their own slightly different procedures for decision
Yeah.
making. And so, if you in the audience, right, welcome here. I'm going to say, full disclosure, I'm having trouble running things simultaneously. So, like, I actually don't have. I have OBS open clearly, and I can see the Twitch stream, and I can see the list of folks that have joined us. But like, I think that it lags by a good 2 to 3 minutes. Like, so
Right.
I'm trying to say, if you are here, I want to welcome you again. Thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, I can't say people by name. I don't know, Edu, can you see the list of folks that are with us on the stream today?
I'm trying to get there. We will see how this goes. We will try to get them as we speak. For example, hello there. I will not. Sorry, I will. Your chat name it's quite interesting in Spanish. I will not translate to English because it's not. But hello there for you, 27. Nice to have you here. So I am the one who probably will be reading the chat. So if you guys want to take a look at it, uh, yes, Dash. It's a funny name. Anyways, we can keep going with the headlines. Do you agree to us?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just wanted to let you know I'm having, and for everybody in the audience, I told Eduardo I'm closing in. I've found the computer that's going to change my life. No, I don't even know, man. I found a high performance workstation refurbished that I'm gonna snap up hopefully this week. So like this time next week on the next stream, hopefully things will be upgraded. Like we're gonna level up our game here week by week here. So we're talking, yeah, a nice HP workstation with 16 cores and 128 gigs of RAM. So we'll be cooking hopefully soon. For now, again, welcome everybody. Thank you, Eduardo, for watching that, or at least being able to help us keep up with folks that are there, that are here with us this morning. On the Uniswap front, I think it's the speed with which L2s will experience adoption is a really interesting question to me. I don't know, right? Like everybody's on these different side chains, and I think that the decision.
It is.
Yeah, yeah. I think the decision to deploy liquidity incentives to both Arbitrum and Optimism clearly show that sort of the flagship DeFi project is now comfortable with the state of the technology and they're ready to move forward and attract liquidity to these things. So in other words, there is this question. I guess if there is the question of when will L2s like Arbitrum and Optimism start to see wider adoption, maybe it's when Uniswap offers. I'm not saying it's the decisive thing, but I think what's relevant about what we're covering today is that this could be a part of a shift in liquidity flows back towards the Ethereum, more specifically the Ethereum stack, right, ecosystem. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, you said it. You said it better than what I could have said. And in the chat, by the way, user 27 says he knows that his name is a little bit rude, but he's a nice person. So don't worry. It just made me laugh. It's completely fine. And thank you, Dosh and Harsh. Thank you. It's my tan. I'm in the beach. That's why I look awesome. It's the feeling of the beach that makes me look like this. I don't know what's T-World's secret, but he will probably tell you that a little bit later. We will move on to the Xdai. Then we have the Xdai kind of huge stuff. It's a talk of the hour. And it's basically, of course, if the stake token should be merged with the Gnosis token, and if Xdai Chain should be rebranded to Gnosis Chain. I don't know. At the beginning, when I imagine the G Chain, because it will be, when we all sort of share the names, and then if you tell me I have to, call it the G Chain, it's a bit peculiar to my ear. I'm just gonna say that. I'm not gonna explain anything further. It's a G Chain. Anyways, it's a votation that is still running. Oh, are you not hearing me properly, 27? Let me know if Let me know in the chat if he is the only one with having problems with my sound. I may try to correct it. So the Xdai Chain merged has 91 yes votation. They even had an abstain that has very little. They have very little abstinence on that, and they have an 8.8% on no. So basically, they explain they have an ambitious technical roadmap, and we will know by tomorrow if this is going to happen. What are your thoughts on this, T-Walls?
Yeah, it's interesting. They don't. Yeah, obviously, it's not even an effort to sort of post the text. You got to go to the forum if you really want to get into the details. And GIP
Yeah,
16, right? So, and note here as well, right? So this is an Xdai chain. I think you noted this last week. Folks on screen
yeah,
here, right? So on the Xdai snapshot, the link to the discussion is not to the Xdai forum, right? It's to the Gnosis forum. Like that itself, I think is worth noting. I
yes,
don't think this is something that's it's
yes.
interesting. I think it's a part of the nature of what's happening here. But yeah, so you see that you got about 1 day left in the period. So if you hold stake and you haven't voted yet, um, you can go and do that. It's got a little over a million in support, and 250K of that is here.
Yeah,
Another 200K. So there's obviously of the quantity that is staked in favor. The vast majority of it is in the top. Well, I mean, it cascades down, but like six-figure stake is in the
yeah.
top four. So this, and all of them are voting yes. This year, the strongest no vote is 20K, which is on the list of. I think this is the top 10. It is. So like the 10th. This seems to be ranked, right? By should be ranked by
Yeah.
by stake voted, staked. This person has an interesting ETH address. I didn't know you could do emojis for your .eth address. I'm actually
Me
intrigued
neither.
by that. It's not a y.at, is it? It's .eth. Let's go see what it is. We're gonna go see what it is. This will be a Wallet Explorer show eventually.
Yeah, I mean, we are doing. I mean, guys, listen, we are doing detective work here. Uh, the idea is that we do that detective work, so you don't have to get into these rabbit holes of the internet seeking for answers about crypto. I feel we will end up in the dark web at some point, looking for information about certain things at the piece that we have.
Dude, I don't even know. Like this, so this address with the emoji thing on it, when it goes to Etherscan, now somebody in the audience, like if I'm doing it wrong, what I'm not interested in doing is like making false assertions, right? So if we're saying something
Right.
wrong looking through this, please just like in the chat, set us straight quickly. Like we want this to be as transparent and accurate as possible, and a part of that is people giving active feedback. So much appreciated. Again, welcome to everybody who's on the stream with us today. Today, if you go to the Etherscan for this wallet address, at least I don't have my glasses on, but I don't see any stake in the wallet. This is the largest opposing vote, right? This is the largest opposing vote. Now it could have been switched to
Yeah.
another wallet, right? Of course, that's always a possibility. Or
Right.
they saw the way the wind was blowing and they're like, they rage quit or something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
You never know.
If
You
you're
never
out
know.
there, if you're out there, shrimp, fish, dolphin. I don't even know what that last emoji is. What is a whale? .eth if you're out there. What's your story? Come join us on the stream. Okay.
And just to briefly, Go Luis says he wanted to propose to T Wells that if he could on YouTube channel have the option for placing subtitles in Spanish and other languages. That's a very interesting feedback. I'm a Spanish speaker. Bienvenido a este stream. And we could work on that. That's for sure. And then 27 username says that you can actually have an emoji with a minimum of three.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe it's a maximum of three. Oh, you can have an emoji if name with a minimum of three emojis. There you go.
That's cool. So let me do both of those. The first one is on the subtitles. Yes, absolutely. We're actually really making we are making an effort to ensure that videos that are post produced all have subtitles as quickly as possible. It's been difficult to like post the video with the subtitles in hand, but we always try to do it within like 48, 72 hours after the video is posted. So like if it doesn't come live with subtitles we're really working on those for the post-produced videos. So on the One Hive TV, for example, like the recent videos in either Fox or the Elk Pools, like Aave Finance, those videos that are post-produced, like we're not recording them live, those should all have subtitles. And then these live streams that we're doing, when we transfer them over to YouTube, we definitely have the plan and the intention, and it's our plan to do the same thing. The challenge is that rather than having a 10 or 15-minute video, you have an hour and a half. And right now, everybody uses voice to text, and we use Otter.ai, and it's great. It's just if I were to take this video, so we can extract the audio, and then we can run it through the voice to text. But even that, for this length, will take like several hours to translate, and then we have to have somebody go through it and proof it. Like the quality of the subtitles that it kicks out from the machine learning whatever network that they have, it's like 80%, 85% right, but it doesn't know what a DAO is. Right? It doesn't know what Xdai is. So we got to then have somebody go through it and like proof it so that it actually makes sense, the English translation, and then we do auto translate on top of that. If somebody wants to volunteer to do Spanish translations and like make them better than the voice to text, like we can definitely chat about this. Go to the One Hive TV channel in the One Hive Discord, and just drop a line there of any kind if you want to help out with this. A larger context here is there's going to be like the next One Hive TV funding proposal is definitely going in the next week to 10 days to the forum, because we need to like these types of things are what we need to raise more honey to compensate people for, because as we do more things, these types of things matter a lot. Like having those subtitles available matters a lot to me, because that makes it more digestible to other people, but
accessible.
But you see, when we start talking about an hour worth of subtitling, there's then like additional expense to do that, because I can't personally do that, but if other people are available and want to do it, I think we can get some honey to help make it worth people's time. So that's a long-winded. Thank you for listening, but I'm glad that question was asked, because this is important. What was the second? What was the second one again, man? I forgot. It was something.
No, it's okay. It's about the 3 emojis on the eighth name, and then I asked on the chat, what will be your name using emojis? And 27 usernames, who seems to really enjoy the 27, says that his will be Peach 27 ETH. That will be his. That will be his user, and he also says that there's a proposal on One Hive from a guy asking for support on translating to Spanish. So there could be something there interesting to dig in. So we move to Aave. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, let's do it. Let me get Aave up here, and why don't you go ahead and get us started, man?
Yeah, sure. Basically, Aave had the proposal to add ENS as collateral. I don't know, guys, if you have cash out, do you retain ENS? Do you change it? I don't know. That's up to everyone's decision. But on Aave, basically, they want to, it's very simple, add ENS, onboard ENS as a collateral asset to Aave. And the proposal passed on with a 99.09 approval, and it will come from it was from 28 to the 1st of December. What could be interesting is to know when this will go live, in the sense of when will this be available. I didn't found that information, but yeah, it seems like a quite interesting idea of seeing the Aave V2. Sorry, it could be really interesting to see how it sort of start taking more ground. The price of the price of the ENS has gone up and down, but it's interesting to see how this token also gets, and the DAO by itself gets ground. They are actually, we're just a small pause here, but they are now working on the mission and the statement for the mission, and they went through a votation on the forum to vote on what will be the mission for the ENS. And it's very interesting about what they voted. We will probably go back with this next week when we have more information about what will be the last version of their mission as a DAO for the ENS token. So yeah, that's on that end. And yeah, so that's a little bit of for example, they also explain on the Aave forum that the benefits for the Aave community is that ENS is a highly reputable multi-million dollar protocol with a significant amount of liquidity on Ethereum. The addition of the ENS will provide Aave with an increase of bandwidth and utility for the protocol. In addition, the Aave community should be aligned with the addition of ENS token, given a significant amount of Aave community also holding ENS names.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite interesting. They haven't explained. Um, Oh, the emission schedule. Here it is. Sorry, guys. The 25 of ENS slot supply is either liquid in the hand of the community or available to be claimed. The tokens will be able to claim until May 2020,
Mm-hmm.
2022. Um, so basically, they are explaining a little bit of how this emission worked, and I'm trying to find it out where it says when they're gonna do this collateral. I cannot find it. But I will find it for you for next week. So that's on the ENS. Any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think that it's interesting to see this proposal. I just, I don't want to go there now because again, bandwidth. But you know, I don't know off the top of my head, right, the list of existing collateral options on Aave.
Right.
But I certainly think that ENS is this really interesting option. That I mean, it's sort of ENS is just an interesting, like when we use words like shitcoins, altcoins. ENS,
Yeah.
I think ENS in some ways changes the game. Like it changes the dialectic almost because you're talking about something that's
Yeah.
a business with a revenue model. Like you're not talking about some vaporware and now they have a token. So that there are these different ways I feel like projects can get legitimized. I think one of them is
Yeah.
being accepted as a form of collateral to the blue chip lending protocol in DeFi, right? Like that's sort of a level
Correct.
of legitimization that's wild, so I think that's really cool. I know I'm lagging in chat, but I do see this question from Ditas Gordas. I'm sorry, is that I don't mispronounce the word.
No, that it's better. It's better if you mispronounce that name. You don't have to pronounce it correctly.
See, that's what I suspected. I like to know how Agave is doing. I think, of course, I don't want to speak for the Agave team. We got to get Monstro on here and Luigi to chat about this. But yeah, let's take it to One Hive just for a second because it's actually related. It's Aave, the fork of Aave that we have here. I think it's worth chatting about, or at least giving you a brief update about it. From what my understanding is right now, the rates have gone down, but I think that the level of the TVL has remained relatively stable, which is awesome. I mean, that's what you want to see, right? And I don't have the inside information on how the incentives are working, but the last time I went to Aave, last time I went to the Agave front end, right, the the yield levels are down from sort of the promotional early stake incentives, stake incentive enhanced symmetric finance.
See Wells,
Yeah,
you are sharing. I hear echo. I think
I have an echo. Okay, hold on.
because you are sharing your screen, and I'm hearing myself back. No worry, guys. We are improving this. But yeah, just to let you know that I'm seeing a third screen for some reason. Let me check. Oh, it's fine for them. Okay, then it's just you and me that I was listening your echo for some reason.
Okay.
Don't know the reasoning.
Okay. Am I still echoing?
Thank you, Tony Steven.
Is that any better there?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's perfect.
Cool.
Go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
No, not no. I appreciate that because I don't want to continue talking if there's. I hate reverb too, so like yeah, I'd rather just not. One thing that when I'm in OBS and Ninja right now, I can see that like there are, maybe that's just the shared screen. Okay, because I see you and then I see another one. I'm not sure what that means, but there it goes away actually. Okay, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah.
For Agave, I guess what I'm saying here is that it was over 4 million in TVL, which I think is awesome. I think it hit like 4.5 million TVL. Now look, folks. I mean, Aave has billions. That's true, right? It's also a massive VC funded thing. I mean, One Hive built and shipped, regardless of the timeline, right? A community. You know, it's I think I said this last stream. I don't know. It was Jim. I think at Jim. He's on Twitter. He's one of the I think one of the PMs at Aave, and he's just talking about how it's easy to, not easy, okay, but like building a product, and then building a community around that product is not that difficult. Particularly if that product's token fucking moons, right?
Yeah.
So like, of course, Aave has, you know, it has a community around it of people that the project literally made rich, like very wealthy, if they were
Yeah.
in early on it. Um, but their ability to build and execute on that product was highly centralized and funded and directed right by capital. Okay, so um, the difference is, you know, having a community first produce a product is a completely different proposition.
Yeah.
The the incentives that were used to the currency that was used to incentivize the building of Agave was honey. Literally an ecosystem that was started by giving away money for free. So you could go to the faucet,
Right.
get free money, and then by giving away free money, you attracted enough talent and people who cared about what was trying to be. So, anyways, I'm ranting right now, but bottom line on Agave, this is interesting too because there was no open source front end. Like, if you, in case you're not aware, Aave's front end, right? So when you go to Aave, it's open source now, but it wasn't. So
Right.
the Agave team had to fork that, but not really fork it, right? Because they had to design it themselves.
Right.
And then so there's a lot of good work done on that. I don't know. We're going to get them on to give us an update here. I know Luigi had a lot of really cool things in mind that he wanted to see because Agave is a primitive, right? It's like a piece of technology you can build a lot of other interesting things on top of. So as far as the next chapter for Agave, I don't know how to. I don't know. I don't want to say anything out of turn on that, but we'll get people on here from the project that can.
For sure.
In the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So that was a little detour.
So
what do you think, man?
no, it's okay. So Rohit says, hello there. Thank you for joining the chat. And he says, you are amazing to us. So you guys can still hear me and can still see the walls, or is it just me? Oh, there you go. You're back. Sorry. And then, yeah. And 27 says that he loved the team behind Agave. Thank you for sharing that. And then we will move on to one of our biggest stories, the hack, kind of the hack. We like to start
plural.
with the Badger, yeah, the Badger DAO.
Yeah, sure. Let me try to pull a couple things down off here just for now. And
Sure.
yeah, I think that
Do you
this
guys
is here.
did you guys hear about the Badger and the Bismarck hack? Hack. I don't know how you call it. I don't know if it's yeah, it's a hack. You can say it's a hack.
Yeah.
Because it's tricky. But yeah, so I can start with Badger DAO story. So basically, if we go here, the last update they had, it's yesterday at 6 p.m. UTC. And they basically say that the investigation is still ongoing to determine the full scope of the exploit and take remedial action. Do you have now the information there, share to us to explain a little bit of what was going on the Badger DAO situation?
Yeah, we can talk for a sec about this, I think, and then people will sort of like give you the overview and then where you can go to learn more if you want to, you know, DYOR. So this was this happened last week, and I'm not as like people who know me or been following the stream or from One Hive. I'm not a technical person, so like I don't claim to understand how this exploit happened at a technical level. But my understanding was that there was a Badger vault that had a smart contract exploit that was able to drain, I think, 120. So Peck Shield is the source we're using here for like the numbers.
Yes.
That it was like over 2,000 BTC. It must be like wrap BTC, or is it just regular BTC? Yeah, BTC, and then 150 ETH. So about 120 mil at current market valuations. Now I don't know what happened to the valuation recently.
right, right.
It could be what 20% less. I don't know. Maybe 15% less. But that again, point being is that there was an exploit there, and then Badger has stood up this specific URL. So
Yeah.
badger.com/exploit, and then updates, and they have this is in real time, and then they actually will give you also
Yes.
some advice on to figure out like if you're impacted and what to do. So they have this information
Yeah.
there, sort of how to use Etherscan, and this is really the key part here is to revoke your token permissions. So yeah, Eduardo, you want to say something about that?
Yeah. What caught my attention is two actions that they recommend. One to the person who that they call it the actor. So I like the use of the name the actor, as in they perform this situation. So the actor being probably the hacker, they explain that they are willing to work with them and to compensate them for exposing the vulnerability in the system. So that's a really interesting. That is a very interesting approach to sort of move on from, okay, you did this, we acknowledge it, how we can work together and work on this. They said that, and they also promised a peaceful resolution with that person and any outside parties involved. Um, and then the other thing that caught my attention is the community. They explained that they ask to the community to refrain any offensive action and to please reach them out with their email. So it's interesting because, there's a lot of Twitter hate sometimes going on. There's a lot of, and what is interesting is this kind of soft, peaceful approach to the situation. And I think it speaks quite good about the community, or at least the team who is behind working on this, because they are not being like aggressive, or the tone it sounds really really chill. Even though an exploit in your system is not a good thing, and we'll get the best and the worst from you to handle it. So for my part, kudos to the Badger community to sort of having this process going on.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the approach here is interesting, and it's of course not like the first, but the idea that you could, I mean, to try to do a little dark humor or throws. I mean, hopefully this has a good resolution. We don't know yet, right? And I'm not at the cutting edge of the
Yeah.
story. If there's somebody in the audience that knows like super uber like a second ago on Twitter updates, then please drop a link or let us know in chat. I think it's interesting here though that if you're like us, if you are if you're an 18-year-old, I'm telling a story now, right? If you're some 18-year-old that's like learned Solidity and you're a semi-genius, the fastest way to get like a job that's paying you millions of dollars is to like carry out an exploit like this and then give the money back. I mean, they started this. It's like, you've taken funds that don't belong to you, or we're willing to work with you and compensate you for identifying the vulnerability in the systems. It's like, how about we hire? I mean, that's the best you can do. It's like, okay, how about we hire you, and you give the money back, and like we'll make it worth your while. It's better than saying, we've contacted law enforcement and we're gonna figure out who you are and like start with threats.
Yeah.
And of course, if this doesn't work, then you may have to change gears. But yeah. If anybody knows an update, this one is from the 4th, which is now a couple days ago. This is from yesterday. Yeah. Anyways, it's kind of a sad thing there, but smart contracts are a tricky thing. And I saw this is a couple months ago, where there was someone on Twitter saying that you should spin up a DAO where you have you have smart contract auditors on retainer, so you could kind of like you keep a lawyer on retainer,
Right.
a team of like a small team of devs that could audit your contracts. And at this point, I imagine, I mean, I'm not a dev. I don't know how enjoyable auditing smart contracts is, but at this point, you could probably make a killing doing it. I'm saying, right? So there's that.
Yeah. That, I mean, being an auditor for me, it would be like, for me, and this is my version of it, it's like what kind of boring job would you get to get a lot of money very fast? And I will say an editor of smart contracts. That's what I will say for that, because for me it's not an exciting job, but it's a job that it's needed, and it's people will pay good money
Yes.
to have a good editor on place. Shall we move on to the next hack?
Sure, let's do it. This is a CFI exchange now, right?
Yes, it's Bitsmart,
Okay.
and basically they had a huge stolen. They had a huge situation going on. 13 million of stolen ETH. Uh, they even, if you go to the address in Etherscan, they have labeled the address with haste and exploit, and basically they hack a hot wallet from um, from the Bitsmart exchange, and they have uh, a bunch of coins sort of going on. On the good side, they will have an AMA today, December the 6th. So if you're a Bitsmart user, they have this AMA today, December the 6th at 8 p.m. Regarding the situation. They already had some disclaimer and some press release regarding the situation. The other aspect that is interesting about this hack is that there is a lot of people sort of supporting them. Has been a lot of other companies sort of saying, "Hey, we'll stay with you. We understand that this happened, but we will still work in. We will not unlist our coin from your exchange." So it's interesting to see the support from the community. So it's not all about it's not all about the Twitter hate. You can have the Twitter love also going on around, and they also say something quite interesting. Is that they will use their own funding to cover the incident and to compensate affected users, and that's quite an interesting approach to commitment from that company to the users in the exchange. So yeah, I mean, 30 million ETH at least going on so far. It's a lot of money. It's not such a small amount. And again, kudos to Peck Shield Inc. because they are sort of also our source of truth at the moment
Mm-hmm.
for this kind of stuff. Um, we should actually mention them on Twitter when we repost the YouTube, so they can be aware that we are talking about them and that we like uh, we like their content. At least for this kind of stuff, it's really interesting. What do you think about this? Do you think these things will get, the people will be able to get back their money?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I imagine it's. Um, Hold on one second.
Yeah, sure. Bless you.
I hope I successfully muted that sneeze. I tried.
You,
If I didn't, I apologize to your ears. Okay. Yeah. Um, so like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I generally speaking, when you get jacked in crypto, you're not going to get repaid, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. And in this case, it's sort of the unfortunate thing about this is that it's both a DeFi and C. Like, there's no, you're never safe. No, it's like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
look, I think. Well, let me put it this way. So there's my two takeaways from this are: one, for a centralized exchange, it's better to own your keys. I mean, that's as old as crypto, right? Not your keys. So in this case,
yeah,
beware centralized exchanges. In the case of Badger DAO, I'm going to say this again: like, be aware of when you sign like an infinite permission for your wallet. Okay, so if you and on mainnet, how can you avoid this? We talked about this earlier, but I'm saying maybe the thing about Badger, the takeaway, I think the thing that people can learn from is that. Unlike a CFI exchange where they just hacked and they somehow that I think you said that the keys got leaked to some of the CFI wallets, so that's like a human error, right? But at the
yeah,
contract level, clearly there's an exploit in the Badger contracts, and that the point of exposure for people, like where people ended up getting screwed, was where they had given access and permission to the smart contract to pull funds out of their wallet, right? Um, and so being aware that that's a thing, like going forward, can probably
yeah,
protect people. And you can see, this is the thing. I use DeBank, right? DeBank is a cool tool. I like it. But one of the things they've
Yeah.
added on DeBank is the ability to revoke permissions for specific sites, and they haven't done a really good job. I like the project a lot, and I'm not like trying to shill. I'm saying they offer you within the dashboard. They offer you the ability to revoke permissions for contracts for specific projects, and so
Right.
this might be something that people would consider doing. I had sort of tweeted about this in jest, like on maybe last Friday, and Luigi actually said that the easiest thing to do, the cheapest thing to do from mainnet, rather than revoking permissions that are going to cost you $30 to revoke a single permission or whatever, you can send your assets over to another wallet. Is actually cheaper. It's not going to be free, but if you're concerned about this type of attack vector like on your money, simply changing wallet addresses is another solution.
Yeah. 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 That's correct. And then we have Balancer to talk about. Um, they are doing their move. Do you want to talk about Balancer and how they are going to change treasury control?
Yeah, sure. This is was Balancer, right? Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So basically, Balancer is changing from Balancer Labs, who control the treasury of Balancer, to move it to the DAO. And they have staged the current list of signers of the multisig. We have different people, even from Ethereum, from Bankless, Ocean Protocol, CoinFund, Accomplice, Inflection. There's a list of that. They even mention Owoki from
Mm-hmm.
Gitcoin to be stepping out as a signer. And they explain thoroughly all of this snapshot, the process, and it's really interesting. Um, they also even have a stipend of 500 balancer to the signers. Um, and yeah, they basically are transferring the control of the treasury, and it's interesting because they explicitly say that they want to do this in order to be more decentralized,
Mm-hmm.
and to be to be more decentralized. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a part of a trend, right? Um, for sure.
Yeah.
And let me put it this way: what's unique here is it's like when you have a project that doesn't make an attempt to claim they're a DAO. It's like then handing over the multisig. But it's curious when
Yeah.
places that are already labeled a DAO, right, or already self-labeled a DAO, handing over the keys to the DAO. It's interesting. I mean, this is not meant to like throw shade. It's simply saying that every project is obviously different, and the way they frame their existence is interesting. But I think this
Yeah.
attempt to hand over the keys to the treasury is more than just symbolic, right? Because in this case, you can
Yeah.
see the old folks here that were running it, yeah, and then there are a few of these. So, for example, the head of the liquidity mining committee of the DAO, the head of the grants DAO. These are two individuals I think that are contributors, right, at the Balancer DAO that are going to be signatories.
Yeah.
So, and then they have Zarian and UMA. One of the things you mentioned there I think is important here though is this part at the end, which is they're setting aside a specific pool of incentives to the people who are going to do this, and I think that's worth
Yes.
noting, right? I mean, if you're trying to do this in a serious way for a DAO, compensating people to do it, I think
Yeah.
makes sense, and not simply expecting them to
Yeah.
show up, and because it's such a critical function, right?
Yeah. And they also, for example, I felt this snapshot is one of the clearest and not longest, in the sense of usually this when you make these TLDRs, they are so like long to read and so on. But this snapshot from Balancer, it's so like they go to the point. It's not so it's short. It's precise. And at the end, what I like is that they even thought about that they will steal some balance, some BAL coin still token. Sorry, some BAL token still withhold, and they explain that this BAL that will still allocated is because it's part of the grants waves. So that will be the reason that not all ball may be transferred of the DAO multisig. So in case you will see that the contract address and so on still have some ball after the multisig approval, it's because of this. So they still have this, throw full explanation of, hey, this is going on. It's not like we're gonna keep some for us, So I really like this approach from Balancer DAO. So kudos to them for at least whoever wrote this proposal. They know what they were doing. So thank you for that. We hope more DAOs use this kind of format for keeping the community informed in such a clear way, if you may say so.
Right on, man. Well, let me ask you this, Edo. Do you have to head off to another meeting here? Or what do you need to do?
We can talk about one last news. I really like the Central one, and since we talk about good practices from Balancer, we can talk about the non so clear practices, or maybe just what happened when you get a no on a vote on a snapshot. And in this case, it's a Meta Academy snapshot proposal for the Central one, and they basically were asking to for a tier 6 grant, which is 240K. And this snapshot, it's failed on approval by a huge margin of 95% of disapproval on this. And basically, they have 1.3 million voters for this. And they did explain all of the proposal. They explained all the people who were working on and so on, but it didn't pass through. And I think this is very healthy for any organization to have no's. I mean, not all proposals who goes on a snapshot need to be yes or need to be thought through. Sometimes it's a plain no for any reason possible. A scam, someone who didn't know very well, someone who wants to take advantage of a grant, someone who wants to just request funds for the sake of I can. So it's interesting this of how we can learn from this. And we were talking about the past weeks about the same stuff regarding having the bright ID sort of checking before submitting a proposal. And this is not a spam because it's very well. This proposal is very well thought through. But of course, you still have this layer of people who wants to propose stuff that are not feasible, or the community doesn't want. And that's where the no comes around, and you can see the collective intelligence of people working on this. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I think the general idea of creating this sort of school or whatever, like a educational space inside the metaverse is of course really interesting. But I agree too that it's unclear. I don't know. I think it's Decentraland and these others. I think it's the same thing. I don't know the background. Like I haven't gone to the Decentraland forum and looked at this. I don't know in the Discord if this individual Teacher Brook, right, is somebody who's active, or if this is someone who just had an idea and they wrote it down and then threw it up on Snapshot. So I don't have enough context. I think the idea is interesting, but clearly, right, this lacks something to garner support, and this is not an insignificant amount of the token, right? Over 1 million of it. So it still has got another couple days left. But yeah, go ahead.
No, that what you just said, it's interesting. Like when we propose, we also need to think about the community, not only about what we want to do, how good our idea could be, but also what's in for the community and how. If that's why I like this format of Uniswap of temperature check and the consensus, because in a temperature check, if you pass through in the DC, we have the advice process, and the advice process is the same concept of the temperature check, and it's this idea of, hey, let's listen if the community wants this before putting a snapshot, before putting people to vote, before just make sure that this is something shared. It's a sentiment shared with the rest of the community before you take too much effort put on something that will not pass. So this governance mechanisms, we will sort of. I feel that within a few years, or we will have a good manual for good practices of how we can accomplish better governance process, and how we can sort of get to the point that people are not wasting their time for good or for bad, because you have all the good intentions of the world, but if this good intention is not good, is not well framed within a governance process, then that good intention goes to waste. So
I think that's a good. I think that's yeah, well put, man. 100%. Um, well, is that a good
and
place
that's
to
it.
stop for you today, or would you like to?
Yeah,
Yep.
for me that I have said my piece, so I can retire now.
Yeah. Well, are you going to TEC next? Is that what you're up to for today? Okay, I think we have Edu has departed the scene here, so I'm going to uh, step out for just a second. Edu, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
There he
Thank you
is.
so much. I lost connection for a bit.
No, no problem, no problem. Cheers, man. I appreciate you joining us, and we'll talk to everybody before we log off here. Everybody will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes with the folks from GUStakes, Dosh, and Solar. So stick around. I'm gonna put up the little magical bee animation, and we will see you guys later. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks, man. Okay.
Thanks, man. Okay.
address.
Stop streaming.
No,
OG, dude.
Private mode on GUStakes.
All right, everybody.
There you go.
Hello, hello. We see OX Billy, Bing Cortana, Commander Root, Dash is here, Della TX,
Hello.
KX, Rohek, Solar, and Titus Gordas is still with us. I know there's okay. So, welcome everybody. We're gonna I'm gonna intro the folks from GUStakes and then let them take over here. I had intended to do the airdrop drawing before we take the break, and I neglected to do that, so we will do that in just a minute here. But I'm going to intro the GUStakes folks and then let them say a few words, and then Salt, I think, is still getting set up, and we'll do the drawing, and then I'm sure he'll
I'm just about ready now, you guys. Perfect timing.
Sweet. So we decided to switch up the game here and pull from Discord. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with OBS Ninja. So, again, week over week, we'll try to improve the audience and streaming experience here. But welcome back, everybody. If you got any questions, again, on GUStakes, don't forget to leave them in the chat. And let me just say, so the GUStakes team, these are folks that, if you don't know them, have been in and around One Hive, and then have launched this awesome project on top of God's Unchained. So I don't know if there's one of you that would like to share the overview of GUStakes or has the pitch, the 30-second elevator pitch, but I'm going to turn it over to you guys and pass the mic and tell us about GUStakes.
Yeah, hello everyone. I think Sartorius is ready to shoot, man.
Yeah. Maybe.
I could do a quick overview, and then if you want to get into the weeds, Salt.
Yeah. I can get into the nitty gritty, give a bit of a origin story, I guess. But yeah, go ahead, Dash.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so GUStakes is a platform that's built on 4 different chains. It's currently built on Xdai, Polygon, FTM, and Ubic. And essentially what it is it uses the God's Unchained game and its API to pull data and pretty much function. And essentially what you can do, and like our functions of the platform, is you create stakes on top of games that are played inside God's Unchained. So in God's Unchained, you have what's called direct challenges, and what our platform does is it utilizes those direct challenges to decide outcomes for creating stakes on top of those matches. So essentially, you have a 1v1 match. It can be, a classic match, which is one of our modes, or an arena match, which is another mode that we can get into a little bit later. But you play the match out, and whatever the outcome was, the party gets the whole pool, right? The winning prize.
Yep.
Sorry for interrupting, but the screen sharing is not working right now.
We're just seeing
on the stream, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, I think something is bugging out there, T-Wells.
Yeah, just switches on and off.
Oh, you know what? T-Wells, I think
I can
if
see
you
that
leave
now, yeah.
the window with your mouse, I think it goes blank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Don't move.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, you tell me if we lose it again. I'm chilling. I'm watching.
Sure. I'm what's in it, man.
So that's kind of the basics of our platform. We do have so we talked about the 2 modes, and we do have 2 more modes coming, which is just tournament mode, which, as the name suggests, you can create tournaments within our platform, and then the players can play out the games, and automatically all the brackets get populated, and you can create stakes on top of the tournaments. You can create prize pools for the tournament.
I can show a bit of that off to you. Just later on in the stream. That's like 80% of the way done development. Crossing knock on wood, because how things go with software development. But I could show off some of the preliminary features there too. But yeah, super excited about all the new stuff that we have coming out. Super excited about
not only we're partnering with some of the streamers, we're already kind of connected with some of the guys who stream Gods Unchained pretty regularly, and then also super excited about just having that connection with One Hive, and being able to show off this product to you guys. So yeah, a lot of cool things coming down the pipeline in the next month, and then going into 2022 for sure. But yeah, I guess if I could interject a bit, that was basically the gist that Dosh gave. Uh, but basically, this project kind of started as like a passion project of mine. So I've been working on GUStakes probably since like March of 2020, and it was really just me for a long time, kind of building the contracts and building some semblance of a front end that people could try out. And it wasn't until a few months after that Solar came on board, and then Solar brought on Dosh, and Dosh brought on a few other members of One Hive. So it's kind of been like this organic growth of this project where everyone is like just working on it because it's fun and it's a cool product and super interesting. So I think it's really cool to be able to take advantage of like not like the structure of working in a DAO and using the talents of people who are within that DAO to kind of come together and build something cool like this.
Yeah, I think like Guts Unchained has very, very active and passionate community of gamers, mostly, right? Because
Yeah.
and recently they launched also their solution for like it started on mainnet. I was like very early player, and South also is like not so early, but yeah, he was also passionate to build upon it something. He had a great idea about this, and I was very lucky to meet him in a way on Xdai, and he was asking for beta testers and stuff. So we were testing it on Xdai and everything.
I frequently say Solar is probably this like one of the people who are solely responsible for this project even like existing, because for a while it was just like I was saying before, it was just me, and I was kind of just going into different discords asking if people would be willing to try out this thing that I made, and rightfully so. A lot of people were just like, "Get the hell out of here, scammer!" Like, I'm not putting my money in your contract. And I was getting quite discouraged because it's kind of happening left and right. But Solar was kind enough to give me a chance, and he kind of, I gave him some extra to play with me. And after the first game, he was like, "Oh my god, dude, this is great!" Like, I don't really know. So had I not had that experience with Solar, I probably would have highlight deleted the whole project just out of frustration. So definitely, I always say it. So Solar is definitely saved the project there.
Man, everyone like who came to work on GUStakes in a way, do something, brought something special to it, I would say.
Yeah.
So we have a great team, great energy. We want to work on gaming projects, and Gods Unchained is the first one, first step we started, and we want to build this platform.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I think kind of starting with Gods Unchained and having kind of a proof of concept that this kind of thing can be applied to not only just other games, but specifically like NFT games that are within the crypto space. Kind of building these tools and utilities on top of it just to add to the community, add to the games communities, and make it more fun to be involved in this space, and also provide more ways to play to earn in this play to earn in this newly emerging play to earn space. So yeah,
I would say it brings additional gamification to the whole game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It gets the community of players. We are in contact with the best players in this game, and they are also streamers. So they were very pleasantly surprised on how interesting this can be, and they are very thrilled to try all the modes. We will soon have tournaments going on, so we want to bring a connection with our communities on Xdai, to this game in a way, and not only our communities, like Polygon as well, Xdai. So we are already on Polygon and Xdai mostly, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So this application will basically is like a cross-chain application that can bring people together, like on tournaments, I would say, like on streams, and it's like great for entertainment and
Not only
additional
that, some of the
challenge.
new modes that we're coming out with, I think that we're making stuff to not only make streams more entertaining, but also give them a way to generate profits for themselves to support their own streams. So, like Dosh was saying before, we have the tournament mode and streamer mode coming out, and one of the features within tournament mode is if you host a tournament and it's a paid entry, the organizer will actually take away a percentage of the total action that's generated, or the total fees that are total entry fees that are collected by the tournament. And additionally, you can also optionally have props on your tournament. So something like, what seed is going to win, or how many wins is the person who takes first going to have, and then you could have people who are participating in the tournament kind of bet on these props, and that's another way for an organizer to kind of generate revenue for himself, because whatever action ends up happening on that prop, the organizer will also take away a percentage of it. Same thing with the streamer mode, streamer props. It kind of works in the same kind of way. So, you know, just kind of going back to making tools that enrich the community for this specific game and other games, which includes the guys who stream and get it out to the community, the public. So just making more tools to make it easier for them and kind of incentivize them to do use GUStakes and all the cool stuff that we're making. So, pretty cool. Excited particularly about that, because I think could definitely open up a lot of opportunities for streamers who otherwise wouldn't have the means to raise funds or something like that.
Also, like for future developments of like this kind of platform, it's not just limited to GUStakes. Like once we have like everything kind of dialed in, we can essentially integrate the same features for other games, just utilizing their API, right? The unique API to each game. So
the nice thing is, like, it's the barrier to kind of porting this framework over to another game is quite low, actually. The only requirement that's needed is the game should have an API, a verbose API that just gives you match results, and then a way to authenticate players within the game. How do you say that this person owns this account? And the nice thing is that a lot of these NFT games are utilizing your Ethereum wallet, so all authentication, like GUStakes, is done through your ETH address. So no need to have to manage passwords or link accounts or anything crazy like that. If you have an ETH address that's connected to the game, then it'll work on our platform. Our platform currently, and any future platforms as well. But yeah, I mean, it's it's coming full circle. It's really, really cool to see.
The benefits of Web3, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, dude, I'm so glad Web3 is like that. Can you guys imagine how many usernames and passwords you would need for all the degen farms you're at? Like, it would be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man, I'm already sick of passwords. I can imagine, like, just it would be nuts. Absolutely nuts.
But yeah, maybe it'd be a good opportunity to kind of show the app off a little bit, show everyone around. So I'll start from the home screen. So this is the splash page. When you land, you can kind of check out just a bit of information about how the site works. If you're landing here for the first time, it's going to look a little bit different for you. Instead of logging in like this, you'll have to input your Unchained player ID, which is just your identifier within the game. And the reason for this is because within our suite of contracts, we have a whitelist contract in which we have to match up your player ID with the Ethereum address that you want to register. And this is to basically protect any stakes that you make, kind of our way of securing your interactions with our smart contracts. Basically, if you're not whitelisted on the smart contracts, or you try to interact with the contract and it's not the correct combination of player ID Ethereum address, the transaction will always fail. So that's just one step that has to happen right in the beginning. I've clearly already done that, so it's not going to happen. But other than that, if you're returning to the site, it's easy. It's picking the network that you want to interact with, signing a nonce, and boom, you're in. So like Dotch was saying before, some of the main modes, the two main modes right now are classic stake and arena match. And a classic stake is just a 1v1 game between you and a friendly opponent. So all it takes to set it up is putting in your opponent's player ID. So you'll just ask your opponent for that. The amount of Xdai you would like to stake, and the challenge code, which is what's going to be used in the GU client to actually get matched up. So I'll make a quick challenge code here, and then a time limit.
Just wait, it doesn't need to be Xdai. Just like they can also select any token.
Right, yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, kind of glossed over that too. It doesn't. Yeah, so you can either stake Xdai, Matic, Ubic, or Polygon, depending on the network you're on. You can also stake tokens, ERC20 tokens that are on those networks. Both you and your opponent have to use the same token, right? So if I decide that I want to stake XCOM, my opponent also has to have XCOM and play for that. Gloss over that a little bit. So past that, you would set your time limit, which is how long you have to match up and actually play your game. And then you can optionally add restrictions. If you're playing someone who doesn't doesn't have as verbose of a card collection, or you just want to restrict the game in any way, just to make it a bit more interesting, you can restrict by set, restrict by god, which are the kind of characters that you use within the game. Restrict the cards by rarity or by god power, so restrict the god power that might be broken or something. Or you can restrict by individual cards. Always restrict the Demogorgons because they are broken. And then you can also optionally make a stake a series match, so a best of 3. So you have to play 3 games with your opponent before the winner is decided, and that's all pulled from the API. But once that's set, you can just create your stake. You are did the stream go out? Yeah, I think the stream went out.
Again.
There we go. Cool. So you're prompted to sign sign another nonce just to make sure that your transaction's coming from the right account. And then you can confirm the stake. It'll be pending for a little while, for as long as it takes for the transaction to go through on Xdai. There we go. And once it's approved, you'll automatically be redirected to the stakes page, and you'll see your stake here. And it kind of shows you all the information that's needed. Since it's a series match, you can see that it has, the win counter. You can show the restrictions if there are any, or you can optionally cancel the stake if your opponent hasn't matched up with you yet. And then on the other side, it's super simple. So let me just log into that other account.
Why don't you create a stake and we play one out?
Oh yeah, all right. Maybe I can create a stake with Dash. You wanna play?
Okay, right now. Yeah, sure.
So shoot me your player ID whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, 1 second.
So maybe you have him in the friends section, man?
Oh,
I think I do. Oh no, I don't. I'm not on this account.
which is fine. Just I'll save you when you get it
So
to me.
my player ID is 4-5.
Oops.
You want to
There
create a
451.
3871.
Wait, 45387.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So add you. Boom. Cool. Dosh is now on my friends list, and I can create a stake with him. We'll play for how much Xdai do I even have? I think I have.
You got a dollar.
Yeah, I got an Xdai. All right, so we can
Are we
make.
gonna do a real match? Like, do I gotta bring my A game here?
Oh, you gotta bring your A game, dude. I came to play. We're
you should
also
do the
playing
win.
welcome set only. Welcome set
God.
only, dude.
Oh, why did you do that to me?
Oh yeah.
You should lower the time limit so you can.
Oh yeah. So we can.
Billy is asking us if we plan to host tournaments on Xdai.
Oh
so we
yes.
sure do.
So we can definitely after this match, we can kind of preview some of the new stuff that we have coming out, which tournaments are definitely included in that. Great question for sure. Okay, let me. Okay, there we go.
You should show the copy code too. So
The what?
yeah, when I accept the stake here. give me a
Okay,
second.
yeah. And then kind of real quick, just to show you guys, this is the other account, the first stake that I created. So if you're on the receiving end of a stake, you'll see something like this, where it'll be largely the same. You can see the restrictions that your opponent set if there are any, kind of all the same information, and this button to accept the stake, which will only go through if you are like, it has to come from your account and your wallet. So everything is kind of set up in the contracts that way. But yeah, it's super seamless. Once you accept the stake, your time limit starts, and you have to play the game within the time limit. And once the match is completed, the site will make a query to the Unchained API, pull your match down, see who won. If you violated any restrictions, then you automatically lose. And the winner will be able to claim the stake once the time is over. So yeah, Dosh, let me know when you accepted that other one there.
Yeah, almost there. I just had to do a few refreshes. So want to make that point. If you see something not loading, just give it a refresh.
Everything.
It's hard building responsive stuff on the blockchain.
yeah. It's kind of hard to once like if your opponents accepted a stake, it's hard for your the kind of getting technical mumbo jumbo, but it's hard for the person who made it's client to upgrade. There we go. So, but everything's on chain. So as long as things have been accepted on chain and everything, it'll pull through eventually. All right, cool. So we're matched up. The challenge code looks like it's GUStakes. So let me boot up the Unchained client here.
Oh, I almost started the match without selecting the welcome set.
Yeah, good thing you reminded me because I literally just forgot.
So if you do violate a restriction, so if you set up a game and you have restrictions on it, and either one of the players violates one of those restrictions, automatically the player that followed the restrictions wins the stake. And if both players violate the restriction, I think it's just a cancel out, right?
So if both players violate a restriction, instead of a claim button, you'll see a return funds. So it'll return the stakes because both people cheated, and it'll charge the contracts charge a 10% violation penalty for not following the rules. So a bit of a incentive there to follow the rules, kind of enforce that.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, cool.
I'm going to start the match here.
All right, let me. Good luck, Dosh.
GLHF.
GLHF.
GLHF, huh?
So what are we doing here? Let's go Selena's mark. I saw Dosh complaining about Selenium's mark earlier.
So the next week we are planning to do like a spectator mode when people on stream can also bet on the winner in a way. Not only on the winner, but we plan to do some prediction.
Yeah, prediction market-esque type of functionality,
Yeah.
which I think would be cool. All right,
Yeah,
so let's
tournaments, especially on
these.
tournaments, events.
Oh man.
So let's see. We have Dosh selected the goddess of deception, and Sartorius is playing with the goddess of nature. So it's gonna be interesting game here, like some frontline there to defend.
Who gave it in? Ah,
I'm gonna bet on.
Dosh.
I think I'm gonna bet on Dash here.
Yeah, Dosh is like Dosh got super good at this game out of nowhere. He's like, oh, it's so good.
No, not only that, but the nature deck is the crappiest of all the welcome decks.
I know. Why don't you tell me that before I picked it, dude? I think we can pull it out. Give regen.
So just to explain the game a little bit, so there are like when you start the game, you don't own, you own very little cards, like a very small amount of cards, which are mostly the welcome cards, and you get to play 6 decks from each god's domain, which are called like welcome decks, and then pretty fast you play some matches, and then you get more cards as you're leveling up in the game, and you are playing against random opponents that are also like new players mostly. So the incentive here is like as a playing to earn game, like you get free cards, which then can be like transformed into and minted on chain on Immutable X, and then you can like buy and sell more cards if you want. So
and the forge just reopened actually, so that whole play to earn mechanism within this game is now complete once again. So you earn cards. Once you have duplicates, you can mint those cards into ERC20 or ERC20, sorry, into ERC 721 tokens, and then sell them on the open marketplace. So that's kind of how the core play to earn game loop works within Gods Unchained.
Yeah, there are quite few marketplaces, like not just one. There are like I think so far at least 3 marketplaces that you can sell or buy the cards. And the best thing is like previously it was on mainnet, so you had to spend gas to buy the cards. And Gods Unchained were minting them, but then they closed the forge, and they've said like it was like 1 year or so that they will be working on a different solution. So now they're like on Starkware's called Immutable X. So the gas there is like for the users is free, but they are like incentivizing it with the marketplaces. They are subsidizing the fees and they are paying it for the users. But also like for a ZK rollup, which is basically like batching the transactions, it's pretty cheap for them to do that on the rollup, because I think they have like a sequencer, right? It's really interesting how rollup works.
Which it's actually something that we are looking into integrating into GUStakes at some point in the future. Like Solar was saying, they Immutable had to put together this whole side chain in order to facilitate the transfer of NFTs. So it's kind of like the first side chain or first roll up rather dedicated just to NFTs. And so at some point in the future, we want to kind of incorporate that into GUStakes so that maybe you can stake your cards instead of just crypto, which would be something cool.
Yeah, like bring on the NFTs, man. Nice. Yeah, that's a very cool idea.
Yeah. All right, Dosh, you're on the ropes here, buddy. No, stop.
Oh, ransom. Ooh.
Hit me with a ransom.
Cannot play that one? Yeah, but Dash is having difficult times right now.
Yeah, big difficult times, man. Sure.
What was that meme on the ropes? First time?
No, like it means like you're in trouble. Dude, that here we go.
Ouch. Sorry, sorry, Dash.
Yeah, I mean, if he can board clear me, I might be in trouble because all of my creatures are like 7 and 8. Yeah.
I don't think he can because like he doesn't have Rapture Dance. There's no Rapture Dance.
There's a Rapture Dance in the welcome set.
Welcome set. He probably can clean one creature at a time, but not all of them.
Oh shit. I'm fucked.
What are we gonna do here?
And Salt is having like a full army here of big creatures.
Oh my god.
Do this. And just go face. You gotta get through. You gotta get through a wall.
Only that small guy is left. The imp. Okay. So that can clear something.
He has deadly, right? Yeah. All right. All right. So let's get rid of you. My backline guy. Let's do this. Let's do that. Sorry, Josh. Oh no, it didn't hit you. It didn't hit that guy. That's the waste. Right. Oh, with the board clear.
Yeah, Billy. Each god has like starts with 30 health, and the goal is to like damage him until he has 0. So whoever is left without health loses.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
I think T Wells is going to finish streaming here. So if we want to I'm just gonna end the match here. It's pretty much over. So
yeah.
no, we can just end the match now, T Wells, and Salt's gonna just show you guys how to claim the stake, and we can call it a day.
Yeah. So, big time ran out. Match is finished, but I'm going to give it just a second or two. Just make sure it gets posted right to the API. So if I
Yeah, it
hit it
takes
with
a
a
minute usually, not even a
refresh,
minute.
yeah, it should be pretty immediate, but give it a quick refresh, let it load. 6 there. Woo! All right, so I won.
No, Billy. So the problem, like, if the time of the challenge expires, that doesn't matter at all. So like,
Yeah. So the
it
time
will-
is just there to kind of enforce some time period that the site should search the API. But if the time expires and your game's still going on, it's okay. It'll still get picked up by the API. But yeah, so once you claim, looks like there's a little bug here. But once you claim, you'll see this screen here, and you can claim, or and you can also tweet out your win here, kind of flex on your opponent a little bit. But once I hit claim and I sign this transaction here, once the transaction goes through, and let me just so you can see my balance change. Well, I should receive 2 Xdai once that goes through. Boom. So it went through. I received my 2 Xdai minus the small fee that gets taken by GUStakes. And yeah, now I'm 2 Xdai richer and I can go play the next game, keep on earning some Xdai. So yeah, that's the basic gist of how it works. We have other game modes that kind of build on top of that basic premise, and then in the future when we have tournament and streamer mode and all these other new stuff, these other new things that we're trying to build out, it's kind of just iterating and building on top of what we already have. But definitely makes for gets your heart pumping while you're playing, especially if you're playing for more than just 1 Xdai. I know I've played for 10, and it definitely makes the game a lot more interesting. It makes you kind of consider a ton of stuff when you're playing. But yeah, that's essentially the gist. If you have any questions, feel free to hop in our Discord, or and someone's always there ready to answer questions, or just log into the site, check it out yourself. We should probably mention this week we have the last of our $250 giveaway.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Nice.
Yeah. So if you can find out more information. So let's go to Twitter. Can find out more information about the giveaway through our Twitter, but we basically have had this running giveaway sponsored by the Polygon Foundation. All you have to do is follow us, reply to this tweet with your Gods Unchained player ID and tag 2 friends. Sign up on GUStakes and play either a stake or arena match, and that'll enter you into the drawing to win $250 in USDC on the Polygon network. But yeah, someone won twice, so odds are very good. we had someone win twice in the first 2 weeks because I guess some people weren't reading the instructions correctly. So they're
Yeah, like it's very easy. Basically, you just need to follow, mention to friends, retweet, and then just use the application to play one match. So you need to create a stake and to play with someone for sure. But like Salt said, join our Discord as well and ask us for a challenge. We will be happy to help.
Yeah.
I can even, guys, like if anyone's interested to learn the game more, we have like a channel for playing games. I can show you some tricks and how the game works if anyone likes the game. So you're always welcome
I
there.
think for those who play, you know, like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone, you know, it's a very very seamless transition into this game, and it's kind of like playing Hearthstone or Magic, but you get paid for it. So I mean, there's very little reason to not try it out. You know, if there are definitely certain quirks that are different between the two that are actually really nice. Some things like the mana curve is a bit different. You have things like the Sanctum, where you can you have a shared pool of cards between both opponents, which is also like a cool different mechanic when it comes to trading card games. But yeah, if you enjoy any sort of trading card game, particularly Hearthstone and Magic, I think Gods Unchained is a great fit.
Oh yeah, and
Sweet.
each Wednesday we have Gladiator Wednesdays, which is like you're joining the channel and you're playing against the crew. Like you're playing against me, Saltorius, Dash, Harsh, or anyone that's free there to play. So we have that event, and also we have like a
Take our money.
Twitch stream on it, and we provide amount of money for the stakes needed. Yeah, it's like the stakes are on us. So you are welcome to join Wednesday.
Join, try out the platform, and hopefully win some cash.
Fellas, we gotta end it here. We're going.
We're going over, right? Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks.
Thank you so much, T-Wells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Thank you, T. Wells.
Of course, man. This has been fun. I enjoy watching. I think like once we get rolling, if having a weekly game to be streamed, on the One Hype TV Twitch, if that's something that makes sense, let's do it. And we can just use this as a platform to just stream a regular game, and people in the audience could show up and play each other or whatever. Like we could do something fun, whatever you guys want to. Whatever we can imagine, we can try to make that happen. Thanks for
and just one last quick note. Something that I've definitely strived to kind of cultivate within the GUStakes community is like a lot of community participation, and so we try to integrate if anyone from the community has any kind of suggestions or something that they'd like to see. We try to implement it right away. Most of the features that we have here are direct suggestions from early community members or people who kind of small things and other projects that they thought would be cool here, or stuff that they wish that existed, right? So definitely we try to emphasize that a lot and try to take these suggestions that can come from the community and kind of run with it, and be as community built as possible. So the more engagement, the more questions, everything kind of surrounding that, the better, I think. So yeah, hop in, ask your questions, try out the platform. It's super fun, to say the least.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to get over there too. I think it's really cool that you guys have a little entry onboarding channel too. So again, I'm gonna have to start there because I don't know as much about the game, but it's cool. That makes a nice way for people to join. But thank you guys for coming on. We'll have to do this again soon.
For sure.
Thank you so much, T-Wells.
Thank you.
Have a good
It's
day.
been a pleasure.
Hey,
Thank you, T-Wells.
cheers,
Peace.
guys. Cheers.
And thank you, everyone that's on stream.
Yes.
So I'm gonna wrap up here with one last item here and make sure we sort of transition in the right way. I think that I can drop off the Discord call. Yeah, I'm gonna try that and see if I can continue streaming that way. Okay, cheers, guys.
Cheers, him.
Okay, so if you are still on the stream, just to wrap up really quick, I know this is something that I intended to do earlier, and fell off of my radar there for a second, so my apologies. If you were on the stream last week and you provided your OX, we have done the drawing, the randomization, and we got Go Lewis is the winner of the being, I think the right term would be to say whitelisted for the NFB airdrop. So congratulations, Go Lewis. I know he was with us earlier in the first hour with Eduardo, so big ups to you. We'll give a reminder in the One Hive Discord chat as well. And if you are on the stream right now and you've been with us, if you've lasted this long here, we really appreciate you. Go ahead and drop, again, your ETH address in the chat right now. If you can hear the sound of my voice, drop your ETH address. And we will do the same thing for this week, only next Monday we'll announce it right at the top of the stream, so we don't have to wait all the way till the end. So again, if you're on the stream listening right now, if you drop your ETH address in the chat, what that will do is make you eligible to be drawn at random for an NFB airdrop. And we will do the drawing at the top of the next stream. What you see on the screen right now is the winner, Go Lewis, from last week's stream. All right, so I see Dash has got his in there, and I have a list of all the people who are here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mute myself. And again, if you want to drop your ETH address, we'll stick around for the next 2 minutes, and then I'm going to end the stream. Cheers to everybody. Thanks for dropping by today, and we will see everybody next Monday. Dash wins. Dash wins again. Cheers, everybody. Have a great day.